still get the why don't we care response. But 99% of the time, people say no. And they don't just say, oh, no. They're very passionate about it. No, we don't want to be linked to that. What about child labour? No, we don't want to be linked to that. What about pouring all the waste from your factories and the chemicals into the river? No, we don't want to be linked to that. So very quickly, people have a fundamental set of values. And I have a strong belief that people are actually fundamentally good. Unfortunately, they run business models sometimes that have consequences that they either don't know or they don't understand, which means that their good things inside them are not matching with what they do with their day. And there's a lot of testosterone involved in this as well sometimes, and ego and pride. I'm running a company and I'm making millions of dollars and I'm driving a Ferrari. I'm doing pretty good, right? And that's being a successful business person, right? Yes, but you're causing the extinction of the Sumatran tiger. And when you explain that to most people, they are horrified, actually. So when the NGOs come calling with these campaigns, the first reaction is one of recoil, horror. I'm not involved in that. That's not who I am. And this was the reaction we had with Nestle. And I had a fascinating experience when on May 17th the announcement was signed by Nestle to launch their partnership with us. And on May 19th, I think it was, I went to visit them to say, okay, come on, let's get going now. And I went into the Nestle main building. It's this fantastic glass, beautiful building on the banks of Lac Léman near Geneva, about 45 minutes an hour from Geneva. And here in this big glass field, much bigger than this, three times the size of this, there's a desk and there's this secretary, the receptionist. I go in there, bonjour, monsieur, hello, how are you? Bonjour. And she realised that my French was rubbish, so she quickly said to me, hello, so, what's your name? I said, Mr. Poynton, Scott Poynton. Ah, good. And Mr. Poynton, where are you from? I said, I'm from TFT. TFT? Okay, so we're not that famous. So not everyone understands the acronym. So I said, the Forest Trust. And she said, the Forest Trust. What have I done wrong? She said, the Forest Trust. Thank God you're here.
Wow.
Don't get greeted like that very often. And she said, yes, the announcement came on the internet 2 days ago. And she said, we're so relieved and pleased that you're here to help us. And she said to me, because we don't want to kill orangutans. That's not who we are. And that has stuck with me so powerfully. Because here's a receptionist in this huge building. We don't want to kill orangutans. That's not who we are. And I thought, okay, thanks very much. And, who are you here to see? I'm with you, blah, blah. And I went and stood over in the corner. I thought, that's amazing. And I went up, and of course, everyone introduced me around. And this is Scott Poynton from the Forest Trust. Oh, Mr. Poynton, thanks very much. It doesn't happen every day. Sometimes we get the opposite. But it was really interesting for me. And the reason I asked Barry if he could help me show some of the learning cartoons, is what we've learned, and I learned this very powerfully. There's one coming up here with the angel, and we'll come up in a minute. I had a similar experience with the chairman of a company called Wilmar. I mentioned Wilmar. Wilmar is the world's largest palm oil company. And I worked with him from about August of 2013 through to December, I still work with him, but December 2013, to get him to commit his company to the most groundbreaking policy to protect forests and people in the palm oil industry ever. And it was going well, but he was getting a lot of pressure from his colleagues in the industry. He was ready to sign. I wrote his policy for him in early September. He was ready to sign it. And I thought, this is terrific. And then he said, hold on a minute, let's get the rest of the industry involved, because it's no good if we just go alone. If you go, everyone else will follow. No, and he didn't want to step out of with all his mates. He didn't want to put his neck out. And so, lots of meetings, lots of discussion. Here it is. So it's coming back. We'll come on, just have a quick read of that. Tell them already. I won't say you read that. Hope you got it. Anyway, it was grueling, it was awful, very stressful, and he basically said, having said he was going to go, He then said, I'm not going, because I'm getting a lot of grief from my industry mates. So I wrote him a really long email, pages, explaining the business case for why he should go, explaining why all his mates were letting him go out there at the front to take all the bullets from the NGOs while they could carry on business as usual. So he wasn't doing anyone a favour. And he sat with me in August over dinner. And this is what I say, people don't know. He sat with me and he said, you know, for the last 6 months, all I've been doing is watching National Geographic and Discovery Channel. He said, I didn't realise there's only 300 Sumatran tigers left. He says, that's true. And I said, well, I haven't counted them myself, but what the scientists tell us is that that's true. And he said, what about the orangutans? I said, well, there's about 20,000 left. Not long ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago, there was 22 million plus. He was thinking about that and he didn't feel good about it. At the same time, Singapore was choked in haze from the burning of the forests for palm oil plantations. And everyone was saying, and there's an NGO basically pointed the finger at him, said it's his fault because he's buying all of the oil from all of those plantations. So his fault. And his wife came home from dinner one night and said, I've been off to all the ladies and they're telling me that all this, they've got this face mask on, everyone's choking to death. It's your fault. So it came right into his house. So I could see that he felt very, very strongly that this was a bad thing. But his industry mates were holding him back. So I wrote him this really long email, business case, everything. And in the end, I thought, bugger it. I'll throw the last dice. So I sent him that poem from Leunig about the loneliest man sitting in the tallest building with the loneliest heart. And at the bottom of the heart was this beautiful angel. And I said to him, this guy's the richest man, second or something, richest man in Asia, I don't know. And I said to him, Mr. Kwok, I've sat with you and I could see the angel in your heart, according to this cartoon. You know you don't want to be linked to the death of the orangutans and all of these things. Thanks, Barry. You know you don't want to be linked to the death of the Sumatran tigers. So bloody don't be. Stop it. You know how to stop it. So I said to him this, I said, anyway, make your decision and let's get on with it because I'm not going to keep going through these torturous discussions. It was a pretty strong email. So I waited. Usually he writes back within about 30 seconds when I send him an email. Every hour of the day. I don't think the guy sleeps. I think he watches the share price of the various things. Whenever I'm with him, he's looking at his phone and the share price. He's a lovely bloke, actually. Anyway, it took about 3 days. I didn't hear from him. And finally, I get this email back and he's sitting there in the inbox. Should I open it or not? So I clicked on open and he basically said, we're going to do it.
Wow.
We're going to do it. And it was such a powerful moment. These people, they just buy oil from everywhere on the spot market. They don't know where it's coming from. But they've changed the whole way they do business. And even better, they put a list, in January this year, they put a list of 800 companies that they're buying oil from. When have you ever heard of any company who buys products telling where their supplies come from? Ever. Never happened in the history of humanity. Right? So they've published this list. And so what's happening now is all the NGOs are going, brilliant. Let's go and see what's going on out there. And I'm saying that's fine. We need the NGOs because these 800 companies you're buying from have got probably 5,000 plantations that they're buying from. And we can't visit all them. So they're their satellite technology, this thing called Global Watch. You can watch these plantations develop on your home computer if you know how to do it. So the NGOs are doing that, and they're coming up and saying, hey, great, Wilma, but this guy over here, he's still clearing forest. We're saying, terrific, let's get out there and have a word to him. So we're getting out to these plantations now. We're having meetings with 300 plantation managers in Jakarta, explaining the policy, visiting some of the plantations where we know there's risk. And the NGOs are saying, yeah, but this guy's still doing it. Right, let's go and get that guy, stop. But if you don't stop doing it, Wilmar's going to stop buying from you. And that has a big impact. This is millions of dollars worth of business for these guys. And some of the guys are saying, okay, well, we didn't know about that, so we'll stop. Can you help us know which forest we should be protecting? Okay, we'll do that. So the bulldozers are being turned off. Some companies, not all, most are turning off their machines. But there's 1 or 2 companies that are saying, bugger you, this is our country, this is my plantation, I'll clear the forest if I want to. So we're not going to get everybody. But what's really exciting, since Wilmar did it, And the reason he didn't do it at first was because he wanted to stay in the pack. And I said, I promise you that everyone will follow. And that's what's happened. Through the whole of 2014, he was December 2015, and by December 13. By December 2014, the whole industry, 90% of the industry, had flipped over and released these policies. And we're working with about 85% of those companies. So what happens now is if a plantation says, no, you can shove that up your jumper, we've got 85% of the buyers saying, well, we won't buy your oil. So we've got these guys buying short curls. And it's a very powerful position to be in, because the way the palm oil industry is run is you've got millions of growers, billions of users. Palm oil is in 50% of the products on a supermarket shelf. Cosmetics, fertilizers, everywhere. So this concept of boycotting palm oil, forget it. You're using palm oil every day. But of those millions, you've got thousands of supermarkets, probably thousands of manufacturers, and you've got about 10 or 12 companies that refine it. And we're working with 6 or 7 of those, controlling 90% of the capacity. So there's 3 or 4 companies still that we're not working with. They've got about 10% of the refining capacity. And they're going to have to go this way as well. We're talking to another one now. It's going to probably take us up to 90% of the industry. And so all of these guys here have to sell into those guys. So I would like to hope, we're not there yet, but a report came out in January this year reporting that Indonesia's deforestation rate, which has climbed beyond Brazil's to be the highest in the world, instead of going like that, it started to go like this. And we're hoping that we obviously get it to go like that. So the V is surveillance, the T is transparency, telling where your suppliers are so that everyone can go and visit them. The second T is transformation. That's the hardest bit. You've got to get in there and change them. Change the practices. And the last V is verification. Get someone else out there to have a look and tell how you're going. So this VTTV model is what's unfolding. And the poetry and the Leunig cartoons, there's been other cases where we've sent poems to people. Michael Leunig is such a, we grew up in Australia, we all love Michael Leunig. He's a bit known outside of Australia, but not so much. So you start sending Leunig cartoons to people, it's an Asian business, and you're like, what's going on? But they get it too. They do get it. And we've had, this guy, Mr. Kwok, the Wilmar, he loves this. And he keeps it with him all the time. And it reminds him of what needs to be done. So I'll conclude by sort of saying what a journey it's been. And it's an ongoing journey since Barry inspired me to leave the path of becoming a vet to become a forester. And here we are, where we're now working in all of these different commodities. 220 people around the world spending their lives in forests and factories and farms and plantations, trying to change things. And we feel good about it. There's a huge amount of work still to be done. But it's amazing now that people are finally catching on and we're seeing that there is maybe a bit of hope. And I always say to people, I'm worried about climate change and we're on a path to 6 degrees warming. There's no doubt about it. All these crazy politicians in the coal industry, monkeys who tell us that it's not happening, or it's rubbish, it's happening. And at 6 degrees warming, large mammals can't live on the planet. And as a species of large mammal, we probably should be concerned about that. And I always say to people, and I see a lot of depressing things, and I find myself sometimes in dark places where you think, oh, you're not going to make it. But then I think, you've got to act as if you will. And you've got to give it a go. Because the wonderful thing about humanity is we're able to pull the iron out of the fire at the last minute of time. And I'm just hoping that with the work that we're doing and that many other people are doing in their own way, can somehow get us to where we need to be. And I'm pleased to say that the phone never stops ringing at TFT. People are asking us all the time to help with things. We're launching new programs all the time. We had a guy ring us up a month ago or so from a uranium mining company. So we've got social conflict in our mines in Africa. Could you come and help us work with the people? I'm a forester from Denmark. Hold on a minute. But why not? Why wouldn't we go and work with those people if we can make sure that their uranium mining is not being used for weapons? We don't know. He says it's not, but course he would. The guys who were using the soy for the chickens, and they were all fantastic as well. But things are unfolding, and I think what's happening is people like yourselves are sending messages to the people that you buy products from, saying we want this to be responsible. We don't want to be causing problems for people or for the environment, and that message is getting through. And social media is extremely powerful, and what's happening is that's translating into people saying we need to sort this out. Not necessarily because they've got an NGO hanging off their building, but because you're starting to touch the angels inside these guys. And they're suffering climate change as well. And they see their children and their grandchildren's future as not being very good. And so more and more we're seeing people responding and trying to set their angel free. And that's what we're busy doing. And it's a privilege to be involved in it. We do need to have some, some sustenance sometimes, talking to folks like you, because it uplifts us to keep going, because sometimes it gets very depressing. But when you see the sort of reaction you get when you send someone the Michael Leunig cartoon, and it can really change the palm oil industry. If we can change the palm oil industry, we can change the soy industry. So many things can happen. So thanks again for coming, and I'm open to as many questions as you might like to ask. Thank you.